Hey everyone, I figured it was time for another video. I'm Budget Nerd. I do all sorts of nerdy things and sometimes I film them. Today we'll check out the 8bitDo SN30 Pro Plus controller. Today's video is sponsored by... No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a sponsor. But Heka.com did reach out and offer to send something over for review. Fear not, I'm not paid, and my thoughts are my own. I had no idea Heka.com was a thing. They do seem to have a handful of tech items, should you choose to check them out. I had heard of 8bitDo, and heard their controllers were pretty good, so I had them send one over. So it works with the Nintendo Switch, Windows, Raspberry Pi, Mac OS, and Android phones. Sorry, iPhone guys, it seems like you might be out of luck. I think it looks pretty cool, and it also comes in white. Inside, you get the controller, along with a manual and a power cable. The battery pack is already installed in the controller, is rechargeable via the USB-C port, and has a 1000 mAh capacity at 3.7 volts. I like that there's a battery pack included, but you can use AA batteries if you want. You can start the controller in a few different modes if you want to. If you're connecting it to the Switch or a Mac, or if you need a specific input mode, you can do it. I think that's pretty slick. For example, in the Wii U emulator's CMU, I couldn't get anything to work, but once I turned the controller on in X input mode, everyone was happy. Let's check out the controller a bit closer. Here it is compared to the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. Overall, it's about the same size, but the Switch controller is a little thicker. There are a few lights on the front to let you know which player you are, and to give you an idea if it's connecting or connected. The top has a Super Nintendo vibe to it, but with two joysticks slapped on for good measure. You get a start button, they call it, and a home button, probably for the Switch. There are no buttons underneath, and on the back you get two bumpers and two analog triggers. I like it. So let's go test it. I thought all the buttons and the two joysticks felt great, and the controller worked well. I didn't notice any lag over Bluetooth. Pairing it with our Switch was easy, and we played some Mario Party 8 without any issues. Except for the fact that I didn't win. I paired it to my Windows PC and played some Minecraft, and again, no issues. Where this thing really stood out for me was when I paired it with my Raspberry Pi, running RetroPie and Emulation Station. I made this custom case out of Legos for it as well, cementing myself in the Nerd Hall of Fame for sure. It was a bit tricky to get paired to the Raspberry Pi, but it wasn't really the controller's fault. Once connected, it was awesome. We had these cheap controllers we were using before that frankly sucked, and the D-pad was straight up garbage, registering false presses and just being very inaccurate. The 8bitDo controller worked great, removed the wire, and actually let me sit on the couch while playing my retro games for the first time ever. It was awesome. We played some Dr. Mario, some Super Metroid, one of the best games ever, by the way, and we played all the way through Super Mario World. Battery life won't blow you away, but will outlast all but the most hardcore of gaming sessions. The software is pretty cool. It will let you update the firmware, map the buttons, adjust the joysticks and triggers, create macros, and create profiles. The only negative I really saw were the ergonomics. The controller felt fine, but for some of the longer gaming sessions, there was a pain point under the right trigger for my middle finger. Not a huge deal, but it did become a little uncomfortable. Also, the triggers, while good, they do have a pretty steep angle to them. You have to pull your fingers farther back than other controllers I've used before. While it doesn't sound like a big deal, you have to extend your finger farther in to depress it all the way, and its angle isn't the most natural position. Maybe it's hard to explain, and maybe it won't even bother you. Things I don't like pretty much end there. As expected of this controller, I like it. If you're looking for one that's not too pricey, but is pretty high in quality, check it out. There are plenty of places where you can grab one, Heka.com being one of them, of course. Check out their site if you want to look there. Just grab one from somewhere, and thanks for watching.